Hello, everyone. It is July 24th, 2026. I am just looking at this market, and it is just getting more and more and more annoying. It is just trading sideways for longer and longer period of time. If you look at the S&P 500 chart on a daily chart, where each bar is a single day, you look back over a year, basically we are right back. I'll take a look at this. I'm just setting up my screens here, everyone. But basically, we look at the S&P 500 chart here, and we basically see that where we are right here at 74.52, we are right back where we were going back to the middle of May. So basically, we have done nothing, essentially, since the middle of May. And so now we are going on 1 month, 2 months, and about to go now on 3 months, where basically we have done basically jack crap in the market. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ futures here, daily chart, and basically we are basically done nothing. And we're off our highs in the NASDAQ, and we have come down a little bit from the highs, but basically you can very clearly see with the NASDAQ as well, the sideways trading range that we are in. And this is the market that we are now in. We were overdue for this sideways range bound type of market action. However, we are, and I'm still just setting everything up here for the trading day. We were way overdue for a sideways trading range of consolidation after this huge move that we've had in the markets over the past couple months from April, May into June. But now, after this big move higher that we had throughout the month of April and May and into June, now we are in a sideways trading range. And for a trader, someone like me, it just gets annoying. It's part of the market. It is what it is. It's healthy, but it's annoying. So we have about 3 minutes to go into the opening bell. I am going to minimize this and the quote board here so you guys can see the quotes for various stocks, ETFs, futures, and commodity markets and so forth as we head into the opening bell 4 minutes away from now. I like showing my screens in the background. That's nice. That's a cool view. I like that. The view of my screens, and you can see me on the side of this, a little bit on the side. Oh, here I am on the side in front of my screens. I like this view. And this is the opening bell, everyone. Let me take a look here and see what we got going on. We're actually still a minute from the opening bell. And now we're off to the races, everyone. Starting out the day with the S&P up 2 handles, the NASDAQ's down 105 handles. And as you can see, various stocks right out of the opening gate. Micron's down 37 handles. ExxonMobil's down 72 cents. Robinhood's down. SMH is down. Qs are down. But the SPY and the IWM are up. My account is down a modest amount, a decent amount. So, and I have Micron calls, and they're down today. They're down by about 58%. But although I have a gut feel, as you can see, looking at the tape action, that this market, it's down today. We open up down on the opening bell of the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's down 63 handles. The Qs are down to 80, a couple of cents on the day, 67, 57. 55 cents of the day. SPY's up over a buck, and the VIX is up a little bit today, but not up too much. You can see the VIX futures are actually down on the day. That's a good sign. Pretty scattered quote board today. A lot of stocks down, a lot of stocks are up. I'm kind of just not really doing anything right here. Just watching the tape action, watching my P&L, watching my positions here. Apple's moving nicely. Palantir's up. God, Palantir, man, that stock has been a pain in the butt recently. Intel's up, or now it's unchanged, down slightly. It's close to unchanged. Palantir's now down a little bit, down 10 cents, 7 cents, 5 cents. Micron is still down, but it's coming back up. It was down over 35 handles. Now it's down over only 25 handles. So that's a good sign. We like that. And the market here is bouncing back. The S&P's up 6 handles. NASDAQ's down 23 handles. It's coming back. Astera Labs is down $9. Ciena's down $3. Jabil's down $1. Micron's down 24. Palantir's up 50 cents. God help us all. This market is mixed like you would not believe, just all over the place, like a Christmas tree today. Really, there's no clear signals. We opened down, bouncing back. I'm still down in the day and making back some money. Very choppy, chaotic tape action today, Lindy Ward. I like this. You see my screens. You see my screen that I'm sharing. You hear me talk about useless crap as I just talk away today. I like this setup. This is what people don't talk about. It's so difficult to create content because there's a lot of logistical stuff that you have to set up. You have to make sure everything's all set up right and everything's right. And it's really, really tricky. It's really difficult, actually. I think the key to success is longevity. Just keep trying stuff out, keep going back to the well, keep reiterating, keep innovating, keep playing with stuff, and just stick to it. There's also life gets in the way too. Someone is in your house, there's noise, there's construction, there's other things going on. You can't control a lot of stuff. Unless you rent like a sound studio for $100,000 a month. I'm not doing that shit. Ugh. So Micron's coming back down. So I have Micron calls, and they're down. At that 50% mark. They're not moving today. I'm going to close these calls today. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of them. Okay. This tape action I don't like, and I'm losing enough in these calls to get the hell out. I sold those Micron calls that I bought yesterday, and I am out of the contest. Now, the other calls that I bought yesterday, and I filmed these, they're on my live feed. It's Dycom. Those calls now are down 11%. Now, Dycom's up by about $6. So Dycom's, the stock of Dycom is up a slight amount. Take a look at Dycom. Dycom is up by a little bit. But the calls that I bought are the August calls. So they have time. They have over 28 days to expiration. But they are down by about 11%. So that means the stock's a little lower and volatility's come down since I bought it. But I bought the calls right before the close. So this is volatility contraction, everyone. That is losing money in those calls from volatility, not necessarily price direction, because the stock's up by $6, as you can see right here on the screen. See what else we have going on here. Oil is down today. That's a good sign. There'll be lots of stuff going on with the whole war in Iran. Trump's bombing. Every day I hear news coming out of Iran. Trump's bombing them, blah, 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 blah. Kind of losing track from all the news that's going on in Iran. And from the latest that I hear, he started like a multi-day bombing campaign. And so Oil had a big rally. Now it's selling off today, so that's a good sign. So a lot of chip stocks are down. Marvell's down. SanDisk is down. Seagate's down. Micron's down. Western Digital's down. AMD is up, so that's a good sign. Caterpillar's up. Those are two AI stocks that are up, but lots of AI stocks are down. Taiwan Semiconductor, Dell Computer, AXP is down over 5%. This stock had American Express had earnings, I think this morning or last night. I think it was this morning. So double check me on that, though. There's just very sloppy tape action today. It's not like we're selling off hard, but we're not up. We're just lots of back and forth. Stocks are up, some stocks are down. It's just very, very, very sloppy tape action. That's basically what we put it all together. And let me see here. Big boy, Nvidia's down by $1. Google's up after getting crushed yesterday after earnings. Robinhood is now down under $100 a share, and it's $95. Really getting smacked today. It closed up above $100 yesterday, and now it's down $6 to $95. Really getting smashed today. Ugh. Micron slowly giving it up a little bit by a little bit. And now AMD is down. Just like 5 minutes ago, we said AMD was up, and now it's down. And I want to make this perfectly clear to everyone. I have charts of the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Russell here. All you need is this quote board. This is all you need to do. You don't need all these charts and all this stuff. I'll pull up some charts occasionally throughout the day if I want to look at something in particular. But for the most part, all you need to do is just watch the tape action. Watch these quotes. Keep getting these texts from all these politicians as the midterms are coming up. It's getting so and annoying. They never end. Oh, this is this person. I'm running for Congress. I'm running doing this. From the voters registration office where I live, and they text me every day. I'm getting like 3 or 4 or 5 text messages a day at least now about the elections coming up for the midterms. It's driving me crazy. I'm still holding those DICOM calls, and another stock that was interesting, that looked interesting, was Fix. I took a look at this stock yesterday, and I like how it's bounced off the lower Bollinger Band, and it's trending higher, and it's above the 20-day. It looks really good. I really like this chart here. And it's continuing to trade higher today. Looks interesting here. Take a look at the S&P and the NASDAQ as they're really getting hit hard. The NASDAQ's getting hit harder than the S&Ps. You can really see the selling coming in the NASDAQ versus the S&Ps, where it's kind of still holding its own ground. What's really interesting, if you look at the advanced decline line, we're plus 979, 977. And we have positive ticks. So, there is stocks that are getting bought. It's just that right now, when you look and you see the NASDAQ down by over 130 handles, and you look through the quote board, you see all these tech stocks that are selling off, and you see the NASDAQ selling off. You really see how, today's selling is really concentrated in tech. The NASDAQ is bouncing here, and the S&P is really up, picking up some steam to the upside here. The NASDAQ's still down about 160 to 170 handles on the day. The S&Ps are up by about 1 handle on the day. Big, just moved down right there on the S&Ps as I was speaking. And now the NASDAQ is getting hit. More and more stocks are now going into the red today. Basically, of the big cap stocks, we have Apple and 50 cents. We have Microsoft up by a couple of cents, by about 30 to 40 cents on the day. Google's up by over $4, up 1.4% on the day. And Netflix is close to unchanged, up by about 10 cents on the day. Bank of America's up, Visa's up, MasterCard is up. But here is Micron really getting smashed today, getting hit here. So you can really see Micron today, getting hit here today. And it's down and it is getting hit, getting continued to get sold on the day here. As you can see here, we go back to taking a look at the indices. The NASDAQ's really picking up, selling off to the downside as take a look at another screen here. Crude oil is still down by about $2, but it's kind of getting a bid here at $90 a share. So this isn't good. Gold's rallying higher today. And the big smash there in the NASDAQ. Now down by 290 handles. Now down over 1% on the day. So we'll see what happens. And now the S&P is in the red, down by 9 handles on the day. So crude oil's down, natural gas is down, bonds are up. So let's take a look at you see the advanced decline line right here is up by 900, over 900, and the ticks are up as well. So there's a lot of buying going on. It's just that certain big cap tech stocks are getting smashed today. Like I said earlier, it's just a sloppy market. Like my screens on in the background on the camera. Nothing beats looking at a bunch of trading screens, right? And that's what people like, right? You don't need to see my face and everything that I'm looking at and, you know, my eyes and my freckles and my facial expressions. You don't need to see all that. What you need to see is trading screens. That's what people like. At least people in my world. Maybe not normal people. People that are trading junkies that watch screens all day. Showing screens on the camera, kind of. I think it helps people in my world because everybody in my world are addicted to looking at screens and looking at price action and quotes and all this gobbledygook. Nvidia down by over 1%. And Micron cannot find a bid. Now it's down towards $9.30 a share. It was right at a buy point yesterday. I really liked the chart yesterday. And I was hoping for a bid today, but we didn't get anything today. Nothing. What's also interesting is the bonds are moving up today. Take a look at the bond market. It's catching a bid today. You can see the Treasury bond. You take a look at the Treasury note. You see the notes catching a bid today. So what this means is that interest rates are falling. And as you can see here, take a look at the 10-year interest rate note. It is falling today. And, you know, this should be bullish for stocks, you know. So when you have interest rates falling the way they are, and on top of that, crude oil is falling the way it is, it would make sense that stocks react to this, to the upside. But, you know, we are in the midst of earnings season. There's a lot of news, a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know. And maybe we get this selling abates and we get a vicious rally to the upside later today. I don't know. See. But it's very sloppy, obscure tape action today. And I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on exactly, especially after being on vacation for a couple of days. I was in Las Vegas, so there's still, I don't have 100% good feel for this market, this tape action after being away from the screen for the past couple of days. Nice bounce back here. See if this bounce sticks or not. Very curious to see what happens right now. Take a look at the NASDAQ on the intraday chart here. You see this bounce here. But do we get that follow through up, or does this bounce get sold? And that, at this point, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I really don't know. We had a nice bounce just a couple minutes ago, and it's kind of pausing right here. We're not getting any green bars, which on my chart show that you're not getting fresh new buyers coming in to bid up the index. And as I'm speaking, you're getting you're getting you're getting a pause in the tape action, and it's not getting through NASDAQ. Now we're starting to get further follow through the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the S&P. See if we're getting some action in the S&P. Now we're getting natural buyers in the S&P on my charts here. As you can see, the green bars are coming here in the S&P. And we go back to the NASDAQ, we're not getting the green bars on the NASDAQ. So we're not getting natural buyers coming in to bid up the NASDAQ here. So we'll see what happens. Come on. But this also shows the sloppiness in this market, how it's all back and forth. You're not getting any trend days in this type of market. You're just getting back and forth type of tape action. So, it is what it is. But going forward for the rest of the day, it makes you think, if we're getting this choppy tape action, you might as well just look to make fades off of every single move. Let's take a look at Apple here. This is the stock that has been doing better than anyone else today, as the stock has just been ripping higher since the opening bell. It opened up right here at around $321 a share, and the stock has just been ripping higher and continuing to go higher in a nice trend day higher. And so that looks very nice with Apple. Let's take a look at a larger picture chart for Apple. As you see here, as you can see, it's pulled back after it traded up to the upper Bollinger Band. It has pulled back recently, but it didn't even pull back to the 20-day before it started getting bought. And that's a very bullish side. Oscillators back into the negative territory after making a high in the stock price and a high in the oscillators. As the slow line continues to trend higher, that is all very indicative that we will see higher prices, new all-time high prices in Apple in the future. So the way it's pulled back like this and stayed above the 20-day, and you have it getting bought like this on a pullback after making highs in the oscillators, with the trend in the oscillators continuing to go higher like this, I think this is very bullish for Apple. And what's happening, I think, is that we're now in earnings season, and the hyperscalers have started to report, and they're saying that they're going to continue to spend on CapEx to build out AI. And Apple's sitting there like, we don't have a large language model. We don't have much technology, but guess what? We don't have hundreds and hundreds of $billions of CapEx that we've spent on AI. And that right there is very bullish for Apple at this point in time. It is up today. And Apple is up today in the hyperscalers and the big cap tech stocks. So that bounce that we saw earlier this morning, it is now fading, and we are going down, and we can pull this up. Take a look at the NASDAQ here, and we see all that bounce, but it didn't stick, and we're coming right back down. So we look at a day like today, even with that bounce, we are not in we're looking like we're not in a range bound market. This is a trend market that is going down for the day. Look at all the individual stocks behind the indices, the major big cap tech stocks and the other AI tech stocks. Everything is getting sold, and there's very little green on the screen. And so everything supports that this is a down trend day, and we're going to continue to go down on the. So as far as for me and looking to buy calls and looking for short-term scalp trades, this is not the day for that. And I am taking a step back and not really looking to do anything. And as I speak, the S&P rallies like it is. I mean, it's crazy. Lots of movement. But again, you're not getting the same rally in the NASDAQ. So what's keeping the S&P up on the day is basically three stocks: Apple, Microsoft, and Google. Netflix is no longer a very big cap tech stock like it used to be. Other stocks are taking over. Interest rates are down. VIX is down. Dollar's down. Bitcoin's down. So is crude oil. So is the advanced decline. It's up a lot. And interest rates are down. So there's a lot of bullish tape action. There's a lot of bullish signs in the tape action. So even though the market, specifically tech stocks, are down today like they are, there's still a lot of bullish tape action underneath the surface. Dell's now up on the day. Let's take a look at Dell. Intraday chart of Dell. I want to see this here. It was down earlier, and now it's it was down, see? And now it's kind of, now it's peeking its head up. So that's a good sign. Let me see if there's anything else going. That is it for the first hour of the trading day, everyone. Action. We got the move down in the NASDAQ and the S&P after the opening bell. The S&P is unchanged. The NASDAQ's down by close to 1% on the day. We're just getting back and forth action. There's not much going on. It's a slop-tastic day. But again, crude oil's down. Interest rates are down. The advanced decline is up a lot, by a decent amount. The ticks are up on the day. You have stocks like Apple that are up $7. Okay. Microsoft's up a small amount, okay, by $1. Google's up by $1.60 on the day. So, it's not a horrendous tape by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not a very super bullish positive tape on the day. What sticks out is Micron's down $6, Western Digital, Micron's down 6%. Western Digital's down 5%. Okay. Intel's down 3%. Cerebras is down 11%. SanDisk is down 9%. Marvell's down close to 7%. So the chips and the AI specific stocks, Corning's down 5%. They're getting hit hard today. So why is that? I don't know. Like I said, we're in the harder earnings season. So towards the end of the month, so we could be getting some flow stuff come in, causing some selling. We'll see how it all plays out for the rest of the day. I'll stop by later today, give you my heads up on what I think about different stuff. But for the most part today is an alligator arms day. Basically, you don't want to put out your arm and click the mouse too aggressively on a day like today. You just want to keep your arms to the close to the vest and not look to make any bold trades on a day like today. This market is continuing to get smashed as the day goes on, as we head into the middle of the trading session. Past the first hour of the trading day, and we're heading into the lunchtime chop middle of the trading session. And as the day progresses, and you can specifically see it on the NASDAQ chart here, right here, These blue lines indicate where we started the Friday training session. And as you can see, we're really getting smashed. Every single bounce gets sold. And it is, as the day goes on, it's very clear that it is definitely a downtrend day in the NASDAQ, and for the S&P, this may be a very rare day where you have a downtrend day in the Russell and the NASDAQ, but you have a sideways range day in the S&P 500. One index that is up today is the Dow. I don't really pay much attention to the Dow because the Dow is just a price-weighted index. So if you look at the Qs and the SPY and the IWM, you can see it here as well. The SPY's down just a bit, about 40 cents. The S&P futures are down by a little bit. And the Qs are down by over 1% on the day. By over $7 on the day. And, you look at the ETFs here, the energy's up, the financials are up, but what sticks out is the SMH. The semiconductors are getting hit very hard right here. Let's take a look at the SMH today here. And you can see here, very clear in the chips, in the SMH, getting sold very hard here. And then let's take a look at DRAM. This is the new index fund that follows memory and hard drive disk stocks like Micron, Western Digital, SanDisk. All these stocks are in this ETF. And as you can see, we got a big gap down at the opening bell and just continuing to get sold as the day goes on in the memory stocks. But all that said, we're only down to where we were a couple of days ago. And we've tested these, we've traded back to these levels where we were a few days ago, here at right around that 53 level. And guess what? We're bouncing. As I speak, we're getting a little bounce off of these key levels here. We're holding these key levels that we were at a few days ago, and we're starting to get a little bounce. Now, that doesn't mean that we're no longer in a downtrend day, that we're still in that downtrend. But let's see if we get a afternoon reversal. Don't count that out. It can happen. So actually, what I want to do here is I'm going to change this time frame on these charts to a daily chart. When you keep them on a intraday chart on this template, it uses up a lot of memory. So now when I take a look at it later, I could pull up the intraday chart. We're getting a little bounce. We saw that bounce in the RAM. You see it in the RAM. Take a look at the SMH here. Getting a little bounce in the SMH, and then we take a look at the NASDAQ here. See a nice bounce in the NASDAQ, but that doesn't negate the fact that we are still currently in a downtrend. We need to see if we need to see some, like, a big reversal follow through where we actually get a bounce and then the buyers come in and bid it up higher. But what's interesting today is you have in the indices, in the NASDAQ and the Russell, a downtrending day that is getting bought as I speak. And we look at the S&Ps and the SPY, and you have a sideways range bound type of market. Get back to work. I got some earnings calls to listen to today. I just want to get a nice bounce in the S&P and also in the NASDAQ. And I want to show you guys something here. Looked at the intraday chart, the 2-minute chart on the SMH. You saw that bounce there. You saw it on DRAM. Saw it on the DRAM. Nice bounce there. So all this type of tape action, even though the NASDAQ is playing out so far today like a downtrend day, you're seeing this bounce today in the SMH, in the DRAM ETF. And also, we look at individual names, okay? You see that bounce in Micron, okay? You see that bounce in Western Digital. And even though these stocks are still down on the day, you see these bounces in the individual names, in the smaller ETFs. The inside of the stock market is getting a bid here. Scroll down, okay? Lily's having a decent day. That's good to see. Dell Computer getting a bounce, okay? Let's take a look at some other names. What I like to do is I like to look at individual stocks and look at the inside of the stock market. Stanley Druckenmiller talks a lot about that, is that you can bet on what the indices do, but you have to look at the individual stocks inside. Let's take a look at Taiwan Semi. Nice bounce here. All through the board. Stera Labs, nice bounce. So you're seeing it across the board. Marvell, nice bounce here. SanDisk, nice bounce here. So you're seeing this nice bounce. So yes, we're in a downtrend day to day, but you're seeing the underlying stocks and the inside of the stock market set up for some type of reversal as we go into the afternoon session. So keep that in the back of your mind. And the S&Ps are now up on the day. So that gives you more confirmation that this could be today's tape action could be a complete reversal to the upside. And we are watching the markets here. Basically, as we take a look at the S&P, we see very solid follow through here to the upside. Very, very bullish to the upside. And in hindsight, we take a look at Apple stock today. And in hindsight, this was the precursor to what we are now seeing. We take a look at it, the move in Apple to the upside today and how it continues to move higher as the day goes on. And that is the precursor to the upside follow through that we're seeing right now in the S&Ps and the spot. But we're also now seeing a reversal and an upside move in the NASDAQ and the Qs. As we're getting some green bars here, and that's showing that buyers are coming in and they're buying some stock. And we saw that earlier today, looking at the intraday charts of the semiconductor stocks and specifically the memory stocks, and how those turned first. And then after those stocks turned, the NASDAQ turned, the semis turned, and the S&P turned. So always, if there's any takeaway from any of this tape action today, it's always that you got to watch the inside of the stock market. And that's why I do have, like, this is my main screen, and I do have intraday charts of the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Russell. But what I look at is not the camera, for sure. I don't look at the camera that often. That's for sure. But what I do look at is these quote boards here, and I watch these stocks move, and I watch not just the individual stocks that I follow very closely, but also various markets. I watch the currencies. I watch the dollar. I watch cryptocurrencies. I watch specifically. I watch Bitcoin. But I also look at interest rates. I look at Kathy Wood's fund. I look at the Mag 7 ETFs. I look at, the various stocks, but I also look at the advanced decline line. And that's another tell today that to show, we're getting this follow through. As I'm speaking now, we're getting the buyers coming into the S&P and just coming into the NASDAQ. But the other thing that was sticking out is that, yes, crude oil was down. Interest rates were down as the bonds were rallying. Okay. Bonds go up, interest rates go down. Remember that. So bonds were up, interest rates were down. Crude oil was down throughout the day. And the other thing is, took a look at the ticks and the advanced decline line. They've been positive all day long. That was another precursor to the current movement that we're seeing here. So that's why, like I said in the morning, it looks like a trend down in the NASDAQ, in the Russell, but we weren't seeing that trend down in the S&P. We weren't seeing that tape action in like the underlying internals of the market. So I was open to the fact that we can get a reversal, and that is exactly what we're getting now. And we started to see that initially with the buying of the chip stocks, the semiconductor stocks, about 30 minutes ago. So we'll see how this plays out. Hopefully it could have more follow through, but we'll see. Nobody knows anything. And on another screen here, I'm looking at Apple. It just continues to rip higher. But one stock that sticks out to me, look at that. NVIDIA was down all morning. Now it's up. Look at this. Let me pull this up here for you guys. The stock was down all morning, and now look at it. It's ripping its higher. This is some good tape action we're seeing. Gold is up today. Let me just flag gold here. Bourbon. If you're tuning in for some soothing musicals, some soothing noise, this is not the place. Gold's rallying here. As I said earlier, the bonds are having a nice bid higher. I am still in the camp. I'm still in the camp that the Fed is not going to hike interest rates, and they're actually more inclined to cut interest rates. Although I do think that it will be a while before they cut interest rates. They're not just going to go out and cut interest rates next week. I do think the next move of the Fed is going to be an interest rate cut, not an interest rate hike. As we can see the clear reversal that we're having here in the markets in the late morning session here as we head towards the mid-session part of the day. The big question is, do we get a follow-through in the afternoon session? Day is continuing to play out. We have a range, sideways range type of session in the S&Ps, and we have a big reversal here in the NASDAQ, in the Russell for today. So we're now past the 11:30 hour. We're in the middle part of the trading day, and we've had a nice reversal to the upside. So we're doing a little bit of back and filth here. So we'll see if this rally that we had over this hour gets sold, or do we get some back and fill and then get some further buying to push, specifically to push the NASDAQ up above 600, 650 and test that 700 level. Perhaps get back to the blue line where we started this current trading session. We'll see. But the NASDAQ is coming back. I mean, we're only down by just over 100 handles, down by 0.37%, as you can see there on the quote. All the while, crude oil continues to sell off, and gold. Hold on a sec. Let me check something here. Yeah, gold continues to rally, crude oil continues to sell off, bonds continue to rally, treasury notes continue to rally as interest rates sell off. So everything looks really good here, and specifically a lot of the chip stocks, the AI chip stocks have bounced back nicely in the morning session, contributing to the reversal that we've seen, this bullish reversal that we've seen in the late morning's trading session today. So as we go into the midday and the afternoon session, big question is, do we get follow through, or do we just get more of a reversal back down? These types of trading days are really tricky. We just don't know. So far, everything looks good. I like the fact that now NVIDIA is back in the green. It needs to stay in the green. If NVIDIA can't stay in the green, then I would say that maybe we get some more selling in the afternoon session. Even if crude oil continues to get smashed. The crude oil is down below $88 a barrel now. So it was above $93 a barrel yesterday. Now it's below $88 a barrel. It's all over the place. As the news from Iran just keeps trickling out, it's hard to stay up to date with it, honestly. And I don't know if the stock market really cares anymore. To be honest with you, stock market's just doing its own thing, and the crude oil markets are doing their own thing. If I was a macro guy and I was paying a lot of attention to what's going on, specifically with the Trump administration and the war in Iran and so forth, I would not be paying attention to any stocks unless they're energy-related stocks, as well as trading the crude oil markets. That's it. Maybe gold, possibly, but for the most part, just pay attention to energy stocks and crude oil. Everything else, market is in its own zone, doing its own thing, especially now because we're in earnings season. So, and we are continuing to get some back and fill sideways action in both the S&P and the NASDAQ, and also the Russell 2000, as we are in the middle of the day chop session. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ at first here. As you have this downward trending selling, kind of just mow it down, selling, that began early in the morning and continued through the opening bell and into the first hour of the trading day. And I pointed out that there was a lot of tape action that indicated that we could get a reversal, even though at that point it was looking like a downtrend day, that we were open to some type of reversal to the upside, and we're getting that. Now, we've got a nice leg up, pull back, second leg up, and now some consolidation here as we are headed into the noon hour on the East Coast. And we are way off of where we started the Friday trading session last night in the evening at 7:43 on the NASDAQ. And we're at only 5:40 now here on the NASDAQ. So we're off a couple hundred handles from where we were last night when we started the trading session. But this is some pretty normal action here. Let's take a look at the S&Ps. Same thing, back and forth. Above when we started the trade session, we're at 56, and now we're at 85. So, it's decent. But I want to see another leg up. You have this consolidation here, this bull flag intraday here, as we go into the lunchtime. I want to see another push up above 90 towards 7,500 on the S&Ps. See if that plays out or not on this classic reversal day. in getting the follow through to the upside, everyone. You can see it very clearly here. S&Ps, you can see that back and fill, bull flag type of action here after the 11 o'clock hour. And now as we go into the midday session, after the noon hour on the East Coast, we're getting that follow through to the upside in the S&Ps. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. As we discussed earlier, I mentioned they were down over 250 to 300 handles or something like that earlier today. The NASDAQ was down pushing towards 250. Now we're at above 600 on the NASDAQ, 28,600. And we are almost green on the day. How about that, everyone? And we're getting that follow through to the upside. So not just in the S&Ps, but also in the NASDAQ. You see that push up. You get that 3 pushes up here. And you got that bull flag type of action after that push up. And you get a third push up here. So you are getting that follow through to the upside here in the NASDAQ. And we're above 600 here. We are now green. Look at this. Amazing. It actually happened. Can you believe it? We were we were down like 250, 300 handles early this morning before the opening bell. And now we're actually green on the NASDAQ. So as we go into the afternoon session here, we have lots of bullish tape action to see here. NVIDIA's up close to 3 handles. Apple continues to rip higher, up 11 handles. Let's see. Interest rates are down, which is bullish for stocks as bonds continue to rally today. Notes continue to rally. That's very bullish for stocks. Gold's up. Crude oil continues to go down. Crude oil got a little lower earlier. It was below $88 a barrel. It's slightly above $88 a barrel, but it is, this is some, hold on one sec here, positive tape action for the stock market, and, sell it off here. Now, like I said, we did get below $88 a barrel, and we're now above that, but we could, as you can see here, it continues to trend down. Lots of intraday moves, but we're trending in the right direction. Let's see if we could get, after this reaction, you get these big reactions at crude oil. Let's see if we get another leg down as we go into the afternoon session in crude oil. Crude oil doesn't move as much in the afternoon as it does in the morning. Let's see here. Bitcoin is down. Tesla's down. Robinhood is down. So, see what happens. But bullish tape action today. Energy stocks up. Financials up. Max 7 is up. But what is interesting is, let's take a look at the Cathie Wood Fund here. It is bouncing along with the memory stocks. Let's see here. Let's take a look at Micron. It's still down on the day. It was down a lot more, but it's still down on the day. But it's bouncing. So I ordered from this place called Sweet Green. They have this amazing chicken Caesar wrap. So I'm going to have that for lunch today.